everyone, and welcome to the council where my fellow film fanatics and I, a great return, honestly. We are all here to talk about all things movies. Today I'm joined with the ever amazing Queen Constance.
Hello, everyone.
And Antony. I was going to say you're back, but you came last week, but I wasn't there. And now we're both here.
We're both here. We're both back.
Yes, we're both back. Hello, it's just the three of us. I am Natalia. You haven't seen me in a while. Hi, welcome back. Welcome back for everyone involved. Today's gonna be a very interesting episode. I do in fact have ADHD. And so we're gonna get a great mishmash of things. We are first going to be talking about, this is going to be the smaller segment, just to get it out of the way so then we can talk about the other segment for a lot longer. But the first one is going to be our favorite Disney direct-to-DVD sequels, because, you know, children, that we're children, and those things rock. And our second topic is going to be essentially just us yelling about how amazing Gene Kelly is. And I will preface that more when we get to that segment. Are we all ready, everyone? Do we all have our films?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Who would like to go first? Antony, go.
I'll go with, I think, the definitive answer for the best Disney direct-to-DVD thing. I wanted to first off give a shout out to a movie that feels like it is a direct-to-DVD movie, but it was actually released in theaters, and that was Peter Pan: Return to Neverland.
Wait, it was? I swear I only got that on DVD.
I know, it feels like a direct-to-DVD movie. Not that it's bad, you know.
No, it's not.
It feels like it's one of those movies. I loved it as a kid. I think, like, no joke, the scene at the end when Peter Pan sees adult Wendy is legitimately like a great scene that I would put on par with any scene from the original. Which is one of my favorite Disney movies. So minus the racism, you know.
Always
like I have to say that.
Racism.
Like, I'm not sanctioning what makes the red man red, but I love Peter Pan. I was Peter Pan at a summer camp production, so it's near and dear to my heart. I know. It's a little 13-year-old with glasses.
That's good casting right there.
Yeah, solid.
But I just want to mention that because I think that's a movie that feels like it should be this conversation, but they put it in theaters. Maybe it's like that Clone Wars movie that they just put in theaters when they shouldn't have. But alas, it has a soft place in my heart. The real answer, and again, the definitive answer, I think, is Cinderella 3: A Twist in Time. A movie that on paper shouldn't work. It is a time travel movie with like Cinderella, and there's like a pumpkin that like goes off the rails. The prince is actually given a character this time.
He's hilarious in that movie.
So funny.
He jumps out of a window.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about these Disney direct-to-DVD sequels, is that the thing they don't have is unpredictability. It feels very by the numbers, and this one, oh my God, it's the exact opposite. It's so unpredictable. So I would probably go with this one. And funny enough, I think I might have seen Cinderella 3 before I saw Cinderella, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the machete order, like with Star Wars, you know.
Yes.
3, then 1, then 2. So yeah, I would probably say that. The other one that I really enjoyed was The Lion King 1.5, which is
that the one with Timon and Pumbaa?
Yes, it's the one with Timon and Pumbaa, which I actually think I remember the most from the Return to Neverland DVD and the trailer that was on it. And it's them kind of like fast forwarding the opening of life. I think it's fun. I believe Nathan Lane and I'm forgetting the voice actor for Pumbaa, but I believe they both returned. And it also had the voice actor who plays Marge in The Simpsons. She played Nathan Lane's mother, Julie something. Again, apologize with the names. And so I think it had a level of authenticity that I feel like a lot of the other direct-to-DVD sequels didn't have. And I think the story was fun because it was just like, it's what you love, but from a different perspective. It didn't feel like, again, it was like trying to redo the original. And I think it worked in ways that I feel like a lot of times when they put like, oh, here's what was happening during the movie, but from a different perspective, like The Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast was the big one, where it's like, this was what was happening in the castle. And it just doesn't work a lot of the times. But this time,
that Beauty and the Beast one, I can't remember. But from what I do, it was like, there was like a Christmas one. I don't remember.
That was their workaround, is because they were like, well, we want to make a sequel to Beauty and the Beast, but he's no longer the Beast. So like, what do we do? And so
there was a scary organ that I remember.
Scary organ, and the Beast was afraid to feed birds. So yeah, this isn't a worse conversation, but that would be a fun conversation as well. But that's why I feel like Lion King 1.5 is fun, because it's able to do that. Like, this is what was happening during the events of the Lion King, but from a different character's perspective, and have a fun take on it. So I would probably say those: Lion King 1.5, Cinderella 3, and an honorable mention to Peter Pan, even though it's not really, but it should be in this conversation. Those would be my picks.
I feel like we heavily associate that Peter Pan one as a DVD, because I don't. I've only seen it as a DVD. I've never seen it. I don't remember watching it in theaters. I don't. So
I don't understand, because like Rescuers Down Under, that was in
oh, what a film.
So that was in theaters, and then recently they've had Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Frozen 2.
Yeah.
So but they've usually not done sequels. And so it was interesting that, like, especially because Rescuers Down Under was, I think, like at least a decade. I think it was 1990, and this was like 2002 or 2004. So it was definitely like a large amount of time between the last theatrically released sequel. So again, it feels weird that we can't really talk about, I mean, we are, but we can't talk about Peter Pan, Return to Neverland in this conversation. But I did.
But it feels right too. So.
It feels right too. So sue me, Disney.
They're really good at that. I hope you know.
Yeah. Hopefully, you know, everything, you know. Hopefully I've proven my love for Disney.
Nice. Constance, your turn. You want to go? You got something in mind?
I do, but I have to put a weird asterisk on it, because I was so much older for the majority of them when they came out. So they weren't for me, but I grew up in a Disney household. Like, you had to love Disney in my house. It was just like mandated. So I was like, oh, well, I love all things Disney. And I would watch them. And I was very unhappy with what they did with our core characters. Like, I feel like in Little Mermaid 2, Ariel, you know, oh, now she's a mom and she's such a killjoy, and she became her dad, you know, like I felt like the sequels did that a lot, where they become the thing that they were trying to fight, because now we're following their kids, you know, like Scamp's Adventure with Lady, you know, same thing. Like,
oh, they were cute. Yeah.
You know, I didn't like what they were doing to the original characters, but I was like, okay, well, maybe it's a new generation, new story. They're trying to grab people that are definitely kids now, whereas I was, you know, a teen and about to go into college, you know, like I wasn't really the market for a lot of these. But the one I'm going to mention is Return of Jafar, because that was one of the first ones, and it came out, I was right on the bubble of, oh, I'm not too old for this yet, but I'm almost, you know, so I was in that weird purgatory area of, I kind of caught it at a good time. So even though when I watch it now, I'm like, oh, I remember the feeling I had when it came out, and I was like, oh, we get to spend more time with these people. That's so nice. So they got me in the beginning because of how new all that was. But I don't know. When I saw the topic, I was like, oh no, I don't really like these movies. But I tried to watch them, like Pocahontas 2.
No, don't do that. No,
Hunchback 2.
That's the one you don't watch.
What are you doing? You know, like.
But what I love about Pocahontas 2 is that everybody, when the first Pocahontas came out, they were like, all right, you ended it right before everything got crazy.
Yeah.
And then they somehow make a sequel. And it's like, I thought we all agreed to not go forward. This is one of the times where you don't keep going, because you're going to keep going to death and terribleness. But it was like that, and Hunchback 2 seemed like the
oh my
worst.
God, there was a Hunchback 2. They have a daughter. That's the only thing I remember. There's a kid.
Those two needed to like not happen.
Right.
Oh my God.
I think they just took everything from Little Mermaid forward and said, oh yeah, let's just redo that. But it's funny how certain ones weren't touched. And I'm like, okay, is it because they couldn't find the story? Did they finally get enough feedback where they're like,
how did Pocahontas? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, like no Snow White, no Sleeping Beauty, I believe.
Right.
But we're gonna do Pocahontas. I didn't understand. It felt like maybe that was a contractual thing.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, they did try to launch it like a mini princess series because I paid attention to that because I grew up loving Sleeping Beauty. I just love the way that movie's animated. Like the story is a little but the music and the style, I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. So when I heard that it was going to start, like it was a 2-part, one part was Jasmine and one part was Aurora, and I'm like, oh, she's finally getting something. She's gonna talk and have something to do, and
she's gonna have a personality.
She's gonna have a character.
I didn't go very far. I don't know. Did you guys see that? I forget what they're called, but
I don't even know what you're talking about. So
it's this very limited princess. Like I think they were trying to launch like a mini show.
Let me have a Google.
I know it was 2 stories smushed together, was like 1 volume. So it was Jasmine and Aurora each had a story to do.
I mean, I personally don't understand that after Wreck-It Ralph 2, why there isn't a Disney Plus show with all the princesses together. Like I feel like
literally,
like
I still think of that picture of all of those, I can't find it, of all of the Wreck-It Ralph princesses, and I'm like, everyone looks so good.
Yeah, it's especially like it's just, that was the movie for me. That was it. That was the only thing that movie was like. Everyone
went to go see it because of that.
It's like, just come on, Disney. Like usually you're so on top of your brands. I'm surprised that they don't want to get on that, because I feel like that show would like just print money.
And I wonder how much of it is they're trying to redefine the word princess because there's a bad stigma with it, and
that they
modern women, and so they want to be all like, oh no, they're not helpless damsels. We want to say that they're warriors or trailblazers. They're trying to rebrand these girls. So maybe they just haven't cracked the nut where they don't want it to look like lip service. They want it to feel more organic. So maybe that's just tougher than it sounds to do.
And in the end, it always ends up feeling like lip service.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how they wokeify Snow White.
You can't. I hate that bitch so much.
Listen, I love the movie.
I don't.
It's an important cinematic touchstone. It's beautifully animated. I think it's charming. I love the dwarves. I think some of the songs cute. I mean, it's like Star Wars. Like you can't really touch it. Like it's part of, like, so much changed because of that movie.
Yeah.
But it's not a movie that has a lot of substance that's, worthy of a remake. I mean, we even saw a Snow White or a sequel. So I'm interested. I mean, listen, I haven't, it's funny, I feel like because West Side Story has taken so long to be made, so many people are aware of Rachel Zegler, even though we really haven't seen her first work. But I'm a fan of hers so far. She looks like she's going to be doing a great job in Spielberg's West Side. And I'm interested to see her take on the character. But I do feel like this new Snow White could occupy the same place that Saving Mr. Banks does, which is they're so protective of it that it's not going to make as much as an impact as the other films they make.
Yeah.
So
nice. I've missed you. Look at you. Oh my God.
It's fun.
I've missed you two together. This is great.
I know. Yeah. Good little troop we have here. Yeah. I have 1 and 2 honorable mentions. Actually, kind of 4 because you mentioned the one I was going to talk about. So now it's been moved down to 3. Honorable mention number 1 is Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Mainly for the songs. The songs in that movie are so good. That movie is really good. I don't understand how or why. It's just, the first one was Hamlet with animals. This one is Romeo and Juliet. And it's perfect. And it's perfect. And we love it. Honorable mention number 2 is, do I want this one to be my official? This is the top
choices here on the council podcast today.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with
Oh, the suspense is killing me.
I know, it's me too. Oh God. Oh no, I just lost it. Okay. Whatever. When I find it again, I'll yell it. But one of my favorites is Little Mermaid 3, which no
The
one
prequel?
really. Yeah, the third one. It's okay. Shut up. Look, it's mainly just because the sisters get personalities. That's basically it.
They had personality in the Little Mermaid Broadway production when they were given the best song in the whole show called Cheese and Love. So
Well, guess what, Antony? Not everyone saw that.
I did it. You think I was making the Broadway decisions in my household when I was 6? That show was on for a year because they put everybody in Heelys.
Oh my God, that's right. Let me actually like double check the casting for this film because I think the villain was Susan Sarandon, but I can't remember.
They just had her in studio for Enchanted and were like, "Can you just do this direct to DVD?"
Little Mermaid 3 cast. Tara Strong. Sally Field. It was Sally Field. Sally Field was the villain. And I think that deserves some sort of recognition. This movie is really weird. I have a really strong connection to it because I don't know why we would watch all the time, but every single week, Hannah and I, we would go to our grandmother's apartment and we would go to the nearest Blockbuster because that was when Blockbuster was still alive and well, RIP to a real one. And we would always get that movie. And we would always watch it with like every week without fail. And it was like
the first Little Mermaid?
We couldn't, I don't know. It was right when it had first come out or something.
It.
Shut up, let me speak.
If you were a
Let me
Blockbuster,
speak. This is my
I think
segment.
Little Mermaid.
This is my episode. I'm going to talk about the thing that I want to talk about.
I can't. You couldn't find it. It was probably right next to Little Mermaid 3. Was Little
This
Mermaid
is the one
1.
that we would always get. We would always watch this one. I don't remember why. I don't remember why this was the one we always ended up getting, but we would always watch it. And so I just connect that with the weekends that I was with my grandmother. Thank you.
Oh God.
Just to piss you off, I'm gonna go on my phone and look at all the other ones. As I
While you're
open
doing
this,
that, I actually didn't mind the Beauty and the Beast Christmas special, whatever, Belle's Enchanted Christmas, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Because I remember Beauty and the Beast came out when I was a kid, and I love that until he becomes a prince, you know, because you get so used to him being the beast that you're like, oh, now he's a man. I don't know.
now
It's weird.
he's a human.
Yeah. So I like the idea of, oh, let's just spend time in an enchanted castle. Like if only the movie had more time to just slow down and do things like that. I was like, this is great. I want to hang out here more. So from that perspective, I didn't mind that one so much.
It's the other one. It's Belle's Magical World. That's like, oh.
Oh, that is that like
that.
the one where what even happened in that one? I feel
Nothing.
I listened to that
Nothing.
one. I remember that one vaguely, and I think I mix it up with the Cinderella sequel where it's just fairy godmother telling stories. Is it like that but with Belle?
It was one of those. So a lot of these movies had shows. Like Hercules had a show, Aladdin had a show, Little Mermaid had a show, and Beauty and the Beast was going to have a show, but it was so bad that they were just like, all right, take the 3 episodes, make it a movie, and then that's it. That's what they did with Atlantis too, Milo's Return. That was going to be
but that movie was shit.
It was bad. So they just made it a movie and then they didn't make the show. So that's what happened with Beauty and the Beast, is that they were like, I'm sorry, this is just no thank you. And that's why it's bad. And there was only a movie, there was no show, because Beauty and the Beast, like, it was Best Picture nominated. Like that was their prime movies. I would say arguably more than The Lion King. Like that was the crowning achievement of that era. So it's like the fact that there was nothing just was because that movie was bad.
And then it was bad. Antony, I'm gonna make you really happy right now. I'm rescinding Little Mermaid 3 and I'm putting it down to an honorable mention because I have remembered my actual answer, which is I feel like you're gonna get mad at me again, which which is
I didn't get mad at you. I want to be clear. You're allowed your opinion. What I couldn't understand is you saying I couldn't find the Little Mermaid in Blockbuster, but you found Little Mermaid 3, which if I'm pretty sure they were next to each other.
first come out. Aladdin 3, the one with the dad.
Oh, King of Thieves?
King of Thieves.
Okay,
that
probably.
one is really good. That one is really good. There's a very fun villain song. I don't know if you know this about me. I love the villains. I never really liked the heroes. I don't really jive with them. That's what I'm saying instead of swearing right now. I didn't jive with them. The villains, absolutely. Yes. The villain, this one, just some bald ass man. But he was great. I really like this movie. This movie is very good because we get an Aladdin past. We get some good old daddy issues, which, you know, Disney loves. And we get a wedding, and I think that's perfect.
And Robin Williams' return.
Yes. Ugh. I always think about Robin Williams as the genie, and I get really sad because it's like he's the reason why we don't get voice actors anymore.
Which was completely not his fault. He was
exactly.
It's because
Disney fucked him over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember how I just said I wasn't gonna swear?
That's the quote. All right, we got 6 minutes into the podcast.
Yeah.
New record.
Yep.
It should be noted that I think Lion King 2, it might be the only one to get a remake because Barry Jenkins is making Lion King 2.
Oh.
So it should be. Oh. I don't know if he's gonna copy, like he's gonna the first one copied.
I mean, the first one copied. You don't know if they're probably gonna do it again.
Yeah.
It worked out so well last time.
Yeah. They described it as The Godfather Part 2 of like they're gonna follow Mufasa's rise to Pride Rock and Simba.
How are they gonna do that together?
Yeah, I'm interested.
One of them is dead.
Well, no, it's Mufasa. Like they'll go back in time.
Oh, they'll go back in time, and then they'll jump back to Simba when he.
They'll continue the Simba story like Lion King 2, but then they'll go back in time and flash back to show Mufasa's rise. So like Godfather Part 2. Well, you know what the point is? The Lion King 2019 made $1.7 billion. That's the point. Somebody saw it.
Dumb.
Yeah. And in their mind, even though what you said about Beauty and the Beast is true, in everyone's mind until Frozen came along was Lion King is the gold standard. It is the crown jewel. It's like, yeah, it's one of the jewels. Yes. So, but people have decided to put it up even higher. So
it's just Hamlet with animals, guys. It's not that interesting.
Yeah, it was never one of the ones I love the most, but I do respect it. And I do think it could have been nominated for Best Picture, but I think you had such a, like that year was Pulp Fiction, Shawshank, and Forrest Gump. So I mean that it was such a packed year that I think that's what held it. But it's good. I think the Broadway production is the best version of The Lion King.
Oh, that one was good. That I did see. I didn't see Little Mermaid, but I did see Lion King.
Well, nobody saw Little Mermaid. It was on Broadway and then it was off Broadway the next year. Because again, Heelys.
Yep. Great. Are we all ready to yell about Gene Kelly in all of his glory?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. To preface this topic came about because I am currently taking a music class. It is a music in film class, and we are currently being asked to write a paper about a specific sect in time on music in film. And the current timeline, I think, is like 1910s, which is like the first movie, which is like the one with the trip to the moon, and 1950s. So for me, I, of course, just decided, I'm going to talk about these amazing movie musicals with 50 of them starring Gene Kelly. And so I've decided to do On the Town. It was either On the Town or American in Paris. On the Town is far more entertaining, and I can easily write a paper on that. So that's why I'm doing that one. But that is not my musical my musical is, of course, Singing in the Rain for personal reasons. The personal reason being that this is my grandfather grew up watching and like really liking and loving a lot of these movie musicals, and we would always watch Singing in the Rain together. And I associate that with him, and we would always watch it. And it's like, it's a really cute movie that we would always watch, and I have it memorized. And the very important date that they mention in the movie is March 24th, and that is my birthday. So, you know, it's a very good movie for that too. It boosts my ego and it gives me good vibes. But yes, it's very good. And the best song on it is, of course, Moses Supposes. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, Gene Kelly is a god. That man can do absolutely no wrong in my eyes.
Well, he directed Hello Dolly, so he can do some wrong in my eyes. He killed the movie musical, so he could do some wrong, but
he can do a little bit of wrong. Ironically, Hello Dolly is also another movie that we watched a lot with my grandparents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hello Dolly is good in Wall-E.
Oh my God, that's right. Put on your Sunday clothes.
Yep, and it only takes a moment, you know. I did that show for my high school musical our senior year, so I have a soft spot for it. And so I watched the movie and I'm like, no.
Ribbons Down My Back is a personal favorite.
It's a nice
I like the ballads.
Ballads are good. They knew how to write a ballad back in those days.
I know, yeah. I like the ballad, she says, with her favorite song being Moses Supposes. Anyone else who wants to go next?
Well, it's funny that you bring up Hello Dolly. I mean, I love Gene Kelly as a dancer and a choreographer, and movies like Sing in the Rain. I like the movie, but that giant section where he's pitching a movie and then we are transported to a whole other location, it's to show off his dancing. You know, he's using movies.
He always does that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. But I like stories. So to me, that's just a giant pause button so that we can watch some dancing, good dancing, amazing dancing.
He's very good at it.
But it does disrupt the flow.
It's the modern day
equivalent.
It's the modern day equivalent of Tom Cruise piloting a helicopter in Mission Impossible.
Yes.
We're gonna stop the movie for 20 minutes just to show off. And it's good show off.
Yeah. So he's really good, you know, like kind of like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. They're very good, but their movies only exist because they are dancers, and they're like, right, there's a plot, but it's really about us dancing, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to know what I like that involves Gene Kelly, I'm actually a huge fan of Hello Dolly. I don't understand. I've only just discovered in the last 2 years that people credit Hello Dolly as what killed the movie musical. You know,
I wonder where they all got that idea from.
I actually don't know.
You think I started
that?
Yes,
it's from you.
No, I heard it elsewhere, but I don't understand that way of thinking, because everything has a season and there is such a thing as oversaturation. You know, Marvel is so lucky that it hasn't really happened to them yet, and may not. Maybe it's because their execution is solid enough, but I don't agree with that sentiment at all. I love Hello Dolly. It is long, but I really love Barbara Streisand. I love Michael Crawford. You know, it's a very good cast, and it also showcases dancing. Like some of the numbers in there are like, what's the number? The one where she's teaching them how to dance.
dancing. Just called dancing.
It's
just called dancing. I was trying to think of a lyric. I'm like, no, it's got to be like a whole line.
It's got to be a line.
So they start in the shop and then they go out in the streets for a while. Now, I get it, because you have Tommy Tune in there. He wasn't huge yet, but he was rising. So it's just got that who's who, even though it wasn't clear at the time because some people were not established yet. And it is a very good story. Hello Dolly, it's a very interesting, classic, golden era story. So I think it's very light and easy to digest, and they have lovable characters. So I was surprised, and you know, it's not his first directing movie. I was trying to look that up. I was like, oh, I didn't know if the studio was like, oh, well, you're Gene Kelly, what do you want to do? And I thought he came with this idea. So it's not his first attempt. And obviously he wants, when he takes the camera, he obviously wants to focus on the dance work. So I think it was just a good love letter to other dancers. Like, yeah, I want to make a movie that brings focus to that. You're not just people in the background moving things back and forth with dance movement. We are going to try to tell this story with dance. So I don't understand where that narrative is even coming from, because I think it's one of the more enjoyable musicals from that era.
Yes.
Can't understand the hate.
Sorry, Antony.
I mean, listen, I'm definitely enjoy what you enjoy. And listen, there's things to love about Hello Dolly, the filmed adaptation. I think it's struggling because, like Barbara Streisand, she's a great talent. She's 20 years too young for that role, and so you lose kind of some of the themes of the show. Yeah. And it's interesting because it's structured like the second act of the show. It plays like a play with music. Like it isn't like scene, song, scene, song, scene, song. It's like one scene with like 5 songs in it. So it's a different type of musical because I believe it was based on a play too. And I think what hurt it is by that time, I think people had grown tired of it. We were starting to transition into a more realist type of cinema. I mean, 1969 was Hello Dolly and 1972 was The Godfather. I think we saw the transition being made, that people were just not into this type of movie anymore. And I mean, Walter Matthau is just like, he feels like he's like sleepwalking through the whole movie.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So I think, listen, it's a fun movie, but I think that, I mean, Gene Kelly even says he knew it was going to be dated by the time it came out. So I think he even knew that kind of audiences are moving on. And I mean, when you have classics like West Side Story, My Fair Lady, Mary Poppins, Sound of Music, like you had created like the tent poles, like they had made such great movies that I think it maybe was too hard to stay at that level, possibly. So it's interesting. I definitely, listen, I love Hello Dolly, the show. I think it's a fun movie. I think the cast, Michael Crawford, I think was great. And I also, the dancing, of course, is really well done, as I think it would be expected from somebody like Gene Kelly directing. So it's definitely, it's not terrible, but you do understand that, like, okay, it was this, and then we went 40 years, and then Moulin Rouge came out, and that was kind of the span of like the big budget Hollywood musical that wasn't animated from Disney. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting film to analyze, because you're right, Constance. It has a lot of great things in it, and it feels of its era enough. So the fact that it has this moniker of being the death of the movie musical, it's interesting to explore. But that being said, it's still a fun movie that if you're like Gene Kelly and his style of dance, you should check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, personally, the one Singing in the Rain, of course, is very special. There's a sequence in Anchors Away where Gene Kelly dances with Jerry the Mouse from Tom and Jerry.
Solid.
I love
Solid
scene. I love the way, I've always been like a fan of like when live action cartoons like are integrated. That's why I love Enchanted. It's why
scene from Mary Poppins.
Yes, of course. I just think there's something really cool, especially of this era, the way they were trying to play with technology and especially integrating it with music and dance. I thought there was something really cool about that. And I think it really showed Gene Kelly's talents. The fact that he was able to cement that performance, that you really feel that he's dancing with a cartoon mouse. Yeah. So that's probably, Singing in the Rain, of course, is like top tier, but yes, I would give him, I've loved that sequence forever, ever since I was a kid, because I was a big Tom and Jerry fan. So I knew Gene Kelly from that as a kid. So yeah.
I think I was just like scrolling through Tumblr and I saw a picture of just like insert Barbie character here and then like some queer flag in the back. And I was like, oh, I did a PowerPoint like this one time. This was a PowerPoint thing that my friends and I did. We did like a PowerPoint night one time. And the first thing that I did was, hello, what? Why does it look like that? I don't want to. Oh, this is so annoying.
For longtime council fans, I think you know that there's a running a running tradition
You're
of
so
Natalia and technology, and I love that she continues.
Oh no, I see
to
what's happening. It's on my big screen. Okay, if I take the big screen off, will this work?
This is great.
Isn't it? Are you not
Some
entertained?
things never change.
To all our listeners, our podcast listeners who can't see what's going on,
We'll put it on YouTube.
I beg you to come to YouTube and watch.
I did this. This is what I did for one night for PowerPoint night with my friends. So now I just feel the need to share this all with you because it is truly the best thing I've ever made. If Barbie straight, why lesbian flag dresses? Lesbian flag dress number 1. Same movie, but better. Same movie, but better. Same movie, but better. If Barbie straight, why lesbian tails? Mermaid lesbian. Mermaid lesbian. Guess what, guys? A mermaid lesbian. Or is it lesbian mermaid? Whatever. If Barbie straight, why lesbian wings? 2, 3. If Barbie straight, why bisexual flag girlfriends? If Barbie straight, why girlfriend? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's it. That's all I wanted to show you. I hope you liked it. Thoughts? Am I wrong? The answer
So
is no.
who's that? You know, I never liked Barbie. I was a My Little Pony person myself, so I had Barbies, but since they couldn't stand, I was like, well, this toy sucks. So I remember chucking it into a corner and never touching it again. Did someone actually come out and say she is straight, or
Nope.
Um,
And because they have it, that means there's still a possibility.
and I know they made Ken, but he was never a big seller, so that I know of. But I haven't paid that close attention.
Me
So
neither, but I just
and
saw
I know
this
she
and I
has.
thought it was really funny.
I guess you're pulling those from movies. I know she has a
Yes.
line of movies. Never seen them.
The BCU, Barbie Cinematic Universe.
Are they about her getting married? Or are they like what?
Nope.
What?
She usually ends up with a man. However, again, to quote me, if Barbie straight, why lesbian dresses?
I mean,
Why do I
somewhere
feel
in
like you
society,
made that
Character.
comment like 10 years ago?
You can't make a character.
If Barbie's straight, why lesbian?
Exactly. You can't make a character with who is supposed to. You can't make someone. You can't make this girl. You can't make me assume that she's straight when she has the lesbian flag on her little cottagecore dress. You can't. You can't.
Well, as somebody who has seen a whopping total of 0 Barbie films, I can say that you have presented a very, very informative, a very, very clear representation that, Barbie lesbian. So I think that, it's very possible. Will Mattel ever go that route?
They better.
We'll see in 20 years when they're trying to keep this brand alive. How much they're trying to get money.
Dear MGM, make Barbie a lesbian.
I mean, isn't it like Greta Gerwig is like right in the Barbie movie? Isn't that?
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, that must mean that Saoirse Ronan will be playing Barbie.
Exactly.
So who knows?
Who knows?
I could see it.
Constance, what do you think? Is Barbie lesbian?
I mean, I think there's grounds for that, but the dress colors, I'm like, well, the other problem is society has decided that pink and purple are just feminine colors. Like a guy is not allowed to wear pink because then that definitely means he's gay for some reason. but it can't mean a woman's gay, but apparently it should. I don't know. I've never thought of that. I would look at those images and just think, oh, pink and purple. They're like, because we're girls, we like pink and purple. It's like, yeah, not really. I mean, some, yeah, but I know that's a dated thing. We got so attached to colors, but we're getting away from that.
Yes, we are, thankfully.
I think we announced that. I mean, because Wonder Woman has come out as at least bi, correct?
Yeah. I mean, you can't live on an island full of women and not end up loving women.
So Superman's bi as of
Superman's bi, yes, as per this week.
Batman?
Batman, yeah. I mean, he just doesn't eat pussy, which is very unfortunate.
I mean, it's the whole DC Trinity part of the LGBT community. I
think so. That's great. Way to go, DC. More progressive than Marvel.
Capitalizing on it. Come on. Make that statement. It's like all the pieces are there. Checkmate is on the board, and yet they let Kevin Feige do it for them. Come on. No, the board you're playing.
One thing that I do actually find funny. This is we're talking about DC now because you did bring them up about Superman. Have you seen that that cover of Superman holding up a sign for climate change?
Oh, yes.
Every time I see that, I'm like, you are a god.
Yeah, it's like
you can do so many things. Your predecessor has gone back in time by spinning around the earth, and you can't stop climate change.
Peaceful. It's like they took the worst of when Snyder's Superman went to court. It's like we get it. We understand. He's one of us.
You are quite literally a god baby. You can stop climate change. Do it.
Well, as you guys are talking about that, I was focusing on Barbie. I was like, that could be like the best thing that ever happened to her for a couple of reasons. Because, she went through a big part of her life as a stewardess and not being taken seriously. And so some context here.
What I'm getting at.
My mother grew up with 4 brothers, so she is not the girliest person. So, but she's very, very straight. But she's had to combat in her whole life to prove that no one believes that my mom is straight because she doesn't act feminine enough. I think it would be really good for everyone to understand that people come in all shapes and sizes, all kinds of people. Like, these labels are stupid. Someone can look like Barbie and be a lesbian, it's okay because, there is not one look for anything. So I think it'd be good to put that out there to get away from this whole, oh, do you dress like this? Well, then you have to be a lesbian. Why? Why does your wardrobe dictate your sexuality? That's never made sense, So since she goes against at least what I grew up with, people tell me this is what a lesbian looks like. I don't even know what the current myth is of people who are afraid of lesbians. Like, they're trying to describe, well, this is what they look like so you can spot them. I don't even know what that is right now. I can only tell you what it was in the 80s, and I'm sure that's not what we think anymore.
I don't think much has changed.
I mean,
we're all dressing the same now, so.
I agree with that, because I do think that there's something like, if you're going to make a certain character represent with an underseen sexuality or gender identity or, whatever the qualifier
X, Y, and Z,
that they have to look the part. And that I feel like it's this odd thing. Like, I feel like you see this also in like the relationships that certain people have to have. Like, if you have a bisexual character, a lot of times that people will get upset if the bisexual character isn't in a same-sex couple.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like, look at Loki. Loki was given he was announced to be a bisexual character, but then there's this center of the story is around a heterosexual romance.
Vaguely incestuous, but okay, continue.
Yeah. The fact that it's kind of like masturbatory on the other side of the spectrum, because they're the same person technically. But I think that's an interesting thing, is like, as companies move forward, and whether Barbie's going to redefine herself as a member of the LGBT community, which, by the way, I would love to see the hashtags lesbian Barbie and boycott Barbie on the trends one morning?
I'm gonna start it.
Which one?
Whichever one. I don't know. I think which one would we all prefer to be on? I think lesbian Barbie is gonna be stronger.
I mean, lesbian Barbie would be nice, but I think like Facebook, I think Barbie maybe
Yeah,
needs to go.
Facebook will definitely be on the boycott Barbie train.
But I think it's interesting as companies continue. I feel like we took this conversation as a very interesting path.
I didn't think this was gonna get this big. I just wanted to show you my PowerPoint.
Yeah, but I think Constance is right. Like, I feel like there are such visual signifiers with certain identities that I feel like we're either seeing things that are not there and then forcing creators to represent something that they had no intention to. I think that's something like Steve and Bucky. Or they are trying to signify it or have coded examples, and then they're not doing enough. And so it's a tough thing. I'm looking forward to Chloe Zhao with Eternals, because I do think giving one of the main Eternals the fact that it's an interracial relationship and you have a kid, like it's a family, there's no mystery of like who they are. Like, you're a family, you live together. I have high hopes that that could maybe break the mold and kind of get us out of the Disney's first gay that we've been in since Finding Dory.
I think even before that, but yeah.
Yeah. So if Barbie wants to join the parade, power to her. It wouldn't be the first time she's tried to stay relevant. So, you know.
They got to revamp her somehow. Next 5 years.
Yeah. That's true. I remember when they launched Black Barbie. And all this ads that they were putting out there, they're showing little Black girls and they're like, finally, she looks like me. Like it was very heavy handed. It was very like, wow, look at you. You just look so desperate. So because they've gone that path, whether it was successful or not is up to be judged, but there's hope. There's hope to say she's not straight. She can identify as anything else. So
there's a great documentary on Hulu called Tiny Shoulders Rethinking Barbie, which was kind of about how they went about one of their new launches. I think it was in terms of the size of Barbie. That if you're interested in this, I would give that a watch, because it goes into the company's attitudes towards trying to keep Barbie relevant.
Without being tokeny.
Without being tokeny, which is always tough. I mean, you always I think that's always the problem, is that the first character that you always do is going to feel tokeny because it doesn't have the support of hopefully more characters. So that's why I think what Eternals is doing is probably the best, because you're introducing a family. You're not introducing just one singular couple. You're introducing one singular person, you're introducing a couple. And so I think that's the way to go, because when you do only have one, it seems tokeny. So I think you're right. It has to be done well. Whether the costumes are a way of trying to make us think that is, a different discussion, but it could be, crazier things have happened.
I know, literally. I think the thing that is interesting to me about Eternals and that casting is that Richard Madden is not the gay man. Richard Madden, best kept secret of Hollywood, is gay. And that's the thing that I find really interesting, because the first, why do I say first? Why do I preface this with a first? But whatever. The first gay character in Disney proper, sure, let's go with that, because it's not like Marvel has been doing anything about it.
Joe Russo in Avengers.
Way to go. You did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe. We did it. You're going to be the first Disney gay.
The thing that I like about it is that it's a Black man. That's so cool. This is the thing that I like about it. It is a gay Black man, and I think that's amazing.
I think Barbie's issue, because it's like they've been so many issues with the brand of that company and how it views women. It's similar to the Disney princess thing that Constance brought up earlier. Yeah. But Marvel, like, you did Avengers Endgame, like, you have fans that will support you forever. Like, use the capital
Well, thank you for listening and or watching, however you like to consume your content. It's so nice to have returning council members. We're still mixing things up. We'll continue to have our episodes drop on Wednesday. The YouTube version will go up on the weekend. So you can follow us on Twitter at the Council Pod. That we have other socials, but that's like our real one.
Main one, yeah.
We have merch that is designed by our newest member, Kyle. So definitely check out our merch. It's good stuff. We release a new council member every week.
This is mine.
Yes, it's Natalia's turn.
I don't have it yet because it hasn't come in yet. It'll probably be here by the time that this is out, but I'll post pictures of me in it. It's fun. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, so slowly but surely you can get the whole set, all council members.
It's like McDonald's toys, collect them all.
Exactly. But yeah, that was today's episode. So thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.